I will forever be caught off guard when I start live. What is up? What is going on? Yep, we're in this vertical format again. Welcome back to Slow Sewing Sundays. Um, yeah, it's just gonna be a little different today. So I'm out here not breaking your heart, but breaking promises because I said that I was gonna have a one of my test swimsuits done by now. I did order, but I don't. So that's what this part is for. I have um, successfully um, traced the pattern pieces. So I have all of my pieces. These are the bottoms, which, you know how it is, like sometimes you're like, dang, is this gonna fit me? This looks a little large, but it's gonna be, made out of this four-way stretch. And then you got the elastic. It's gonna be fine. It's probably gonna turn out great. I'm doing this version right now. So it's gonna be the high waist with the kind of sporty top. So I said last time, which I'm still gonna do, I'm doing a practice version first. I just think that's the best way to go, especially because one, I've never done this pattern before. I definitely don't do swimwear ever. And also, I'm aware that I'm gonna be doing, the top is gonna be one size, the bottom is gonna be another. So the top, I cut out a size 6, the bottom, I cut out a size 10. So I'm gonna see how that works. Yeah, so this is gonna, I decided on this for my practice fabric, which I'll show you the other bathing suit I did, which was the first bathing suit I've ever done. That turned out pretty well. This is it. This is the one I showed last time. This is kind of a more, it's a one piece, but it's a more of like a sexy kind of cut because it's got, you know, the high, whatever this is, the high V, you know, and then you really can't tell, but it has like a really large opening on the sides. Hi. It's got like a large opening on the sides, so you get like a little bit of like side boob. So, you know, and it has a low back. So for like a, you know, a one piece, it's a pretty like, you know, grown and sexy cut. However, and it's out of the same fabric. I didn't line it. So this was the first one I had done. It's out of a, I forgot the name of the pattern because I did it a few years ago, but it's a French indie pattern. I really only mess with indie patterns these days. I don't really do McCall's and the big four, big five anymore. I really dig kind of what the indies are doing. So anyway, that's not what I'm going for this time. I'm again going for like this more like sporty stuff because, you know, I'm trying to do like paddle boarding and whatnot, you know what I mean? And last thing I need to worry about is like, do I have coverage, you know? Is this gonna stay on? I don't wanna worry about wedgies. I need like full front and back coverage. So yeah, so this is the first one I'm doing. Right now I've decided to go ahead and just make a full on like real version. So I am making it with this practice fabric, which is this fabric that I had from Mood that I had gotten a couple years ago, clearly because I'm, you know, already made a version. And we're gonna use lining this time. Never used the lining before. But I knew I already had some like elastic and lining and stuff like that in my stash, but I went ahead and bought more, which came in. So I got two extra yards of lining fabric because I'm also gonna make another suit. It will be, let's see if I can grab it. It'll be also this version too. Again, just going for like, you know, more sporty, more coverage, you know. whatever. I want to be able to like run around and not worry about anything falling out and stuff like that. Um, this is 2 yards of lining, uh, basically swimsuit lining fabric, and lots of the rubberized elastic, which from what I read is more durable. It's a little, I think it's a little more tricky to work with to actually like, put it in, to like sew with it. I don't think I'm gonna use a serger. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do everything on my regular machine. So I already had some in white, and I think this is like a quarter of an inch wide. And then so I got some in black because I've just never seen the black color before, and I thought that would be cool. Nobody's gonna see it anyway. It's just for me to know. And this is, I've never seen this. So this is a woven elastic, but this is elastic that's specially made for swimsuit fabric. So your regular elastic, you shouldn't use that for swimsuit stuff because you've got like chlorine or like excessive salt water, and it absorbs those things more. And a lot of times I think the chlorine and the salt isn't good for the fabrics, for that elastic material. But this elastic is made to hold up to this kind of stuff. Also too, this elastic seems to be like a little thinner, a little more transparent than I'm used to, but cool, whatever. So this is actually for this high waist version. The elastic will go here on the waist, and it'll also go underneath the boob, the boob part, so it'll like stay on. So those are the notions that I got. Again, like I said, like I have a lot of these materials. I had enough of it at least to make, the practice ones. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. Like, I'm gonna be showing you some like boring stuff, but this is like part of the process. So, okay, so yeah, so this is where I'm at. The first one I'm gonna make is the two-piece that I showed you. Right now I've only like laid down and cut out, just this is the bikini top front. So there's the lining, there's the fabric. So I'm gonna go and do the next piece. So when I'm doing this, usually when I lay out my fabric, I use pins on everything, but that is not the case for this. So because I'm using this material, which I'm sure if I start pinning this, it will be fine. But I think it's actually better to use pattern weights, which actually I got these for free, like out of a swag bag when I went to DC Frogtails. I usually don't really have pattern weights, but you can really use anything as a pattern weight. So to cut out the first piece, I literally use these 3 pieces, which, literally these are like tiles, and they've put like some felt stick on the back, so it's not as rough. But this is more or less the same thing. But a lot of people actually just use anything heavy that they have laying around, or you can go to like Home Depot or any of those like home improvement type stores and get like those big washers, because you can get a lot of those, and those are easy to work with as well. But I'm just making do with what I have right now because I don't really generally use pattern weights. But again, I'm not trying to stick pins through this fabric. So I think for the sake of this, I'm gonna actually not use the lining right now, lay that out. I'm going to lay out the actual fabric, which I still love this pattern. Yeah, it's really cute. I just love how vibrant it is, and I really like the buildings. But anyway, neither here nor there. Okay, so now we're on to the boring part. But you know what? This is like part of sewing. So mainly for these lives, it's not only about like sharing what I'm doing, but sometimes if you want to get hype about a project, or if you're working on something too, and it could be knitting, it could be you're typing away at something, you know what I mean. Sometimes it just helps to just have somebody in the background that's also kind of being productive. Um, I know this sounds weird, but sometimes like I will even watch my own um, lives back sometimes, and just like have me along, because like if I'm sewing over here, then I'm sewing here, because sewing can be quite lonely sometimes. So, but I usually like to, that's when it's good to have like, you know, a good like hour-long video or something playing in the background. Okay. So the next piece I would like to go ahead and do is this big mama jamma. So these are the bikini bottoms, which they look pretty big, but again, um, it's gonna, I'm assuming it's gonna like go over my navels like right here. It's probably gonna go about here, I guess. I don't know. I imagine it's gonna go, anyway, so it looks like it's gonna fit okay. Either way, we're gonna cut it out. That's the whole point of like making this practice version. We kind of don't care. We're just trying to see if this works. I guess I'm just a little shocked that like I was like a 6 up top, a 10 on the bottom, which I don't know. But if that's what it is, that's what it is. Okay. So even though this is, so I'm using, this fabric is a 4-way stretch, which is obviously really good because especially with suiting material and stuff, you know, you need to be able to like, you know, have give in all the directions. So this pattern piece does have a grain on it. So this is basically parallel to the selvage edge. And this is the selvage edge. So I actually didn't realize that like even with like 4-way stretch and stuff that there was a grain. Since this, you know, this material is a man-made material, usually you have grains of like, you know, your natural like cottons and things like that, your natural materials, but you do. All right. So naturally, I don't have enough. So actually, I'll just, it's perfect. Just use some scissors. Actually, before I was on live, I was like cutting like this, and that's, I think, what I'll keep doing. I'm using my baby-sized, what is this called? Rotary cutter. The thing I find actually really funny about like kind of doing sewing projects, like there's just so much about sewing that isn't sewing. Like you will spend so much of your time, like you know, you don't have to trace a pattern, but you know, in this case I did, you know, but you have to like lay out your pieces and cut them out and, you know, figure out the directions and pin things, cut things, you know, whatever. There's so little sewing and sewing oftentimes. But, you know, and so like if you're someone that doesn't sew or you would like to get into sewing, I think there's that misconception that, that's like, that's all it is. You're just doing a lot of sewing all the time. And to me, honestly, that's like the funnest part. But, this is just really just part of it. And this is the part that you don't see like on those reels and stuff. Um, like on Instagram and TikTok, they show like a little bit of sewing and then people like trying stuff on and like it really just doesn't take time, but it just does. But I personally like to see people like doing this part because this is the part that is just usually not the most fun, but it's necessary. You kind of get into it. You can kind of get kind of zen with it. All right, so that wasn't bad. And if you're new here, I don't call it Slow Sewing Sundays for nothing. Like, I genuinely do everything pretty slowly, so I think this actually may be pretty quick for me though. Alright, so every piece that I'm cutting out, which it is, there's a front bottom piece, back bottom piece, front top piece, back top piece. And then there's this gusset part, which is essentially, the lining in the crotch area, which you can do out of the main fabric itself or out of the lining fabric. And I think because I am using a lining, I'm just gonna opt to do that. So yeah, but right now I'm just gonna focus on the lining that I'm using. I got this from Blackbird Fabrics. It's really nice. It's like a flesh tone color. It's very slinky, very light. This is also great. I think it's, just to add stability in your, because the linings are optional for a lot of these swimsuit patterns, but it adds, I think, a little bit of stability, especially if you're not using cups, because I'm not using cups in this pattern. I don't know, I have mixed feelings about cups. I'm not really a big fan of bras with cups in them, like a lot of sports bras are, and I get it, you just try not to show like the nip part, but like whatever. I'd rather just use a lining. Also, if you had like if you chose a fabric that was a little transparent, a little see-through, like that could help with that. There's always, I think, not everybody, but a lot of us have definitely had experiences where, there's certain colors that, in swimwear that are better than others. So, like, I think lime green, I think I made that mistake once when I was like much younger. That stuff was kind of see-through. It wasn't cool. That's what it was. It was like I had a lime green two-piece, I remember, when I was like a young teen or like 12 or something like that. But I remember like it had like a decorative piece on the top. And I was like, I don't want this decorative piece on the top. You know what I mean? I just want the lime green suit. Chap. I cut off the decorative part and like everybody could see everything. Did I have much at the time? No. Embarrassing still? Yes. So there's that. Okay, so next piece coming up. All right, this is the bikini bottoms front. So, oh, I put up the bottoms up to my front. That's what I was like, why does this feel like this is covering like a whole lot? So this is making more sense now. Okay, so my belly button is like about right here. If it's gonna cover that, okay, boom, crotch. Okay, making more sense now. myself much room here to work with, but we're gonna make it work. So that's what we do. Even on live, just make it work. Alright. So, oh my gosh. Okay. I've been, to store my fabrics, I've been using like leftover, cardboard. I was like, what is it called? Leftover cardboard, and use that to like kind of fold down my fabrics and like put it around it. And I mean, it's not the best system, but you know, for the most part, it's kind of, it's neater than it was at one time. So, all right, let me lay out this fabric here. All right. That's the nice thing too, like sewing up swimsuits. You don't necessarily need all that much yardage. I think I ended up buying like maybe 2 yards or something, maybe 2.5 yards of this, and like I'm definitely getting a whole nother swimsuit out of this, and yeah, and maybe I could probably get another top or bottom if I am smart with how I cut this out. And honestly, I'm not really trying to be strategic. I'm just trying to get this done. So, all right. So this is the front piece. Okay. Now this, I mean, honestly, doing this, it makes me, I don't need to invest in anything else. But it does make me want to buy pattern weights. But maybe I just need to follow my own advice, or like what I've seen, and just go ahead and like get like washers from like a Home Depot or Lowe's or something. Ace Hardware, one of those. Alright. But I mean, for the most part, this is going by pretty quickly. So no surprise here. I cut these pieces out. I traced and cut these pieces out this morning. Then, you know, took a nap, lived my life. And then actually talked to my mom before this live, and then and I cut like a piece and a half with her, because of course, you know, I was just blabbing on with her. And I was like, I need to go ahead and do this live. Sadly, this is like actually the most time that I get any sewing stuff done, is when I actually do these lives. It's like sad and not sad, because like I'm literally taking out this time. I've decided, you know, to do these, commit to these every Sunday. So this has helped me, because there are a lot of times that I would have skipped a lot of weeks and not sewn anything, but because, you know, I do these lives on Sunday, it actually, you know, motivates me to be like, all right, you know, I need to at least do something. Ooh, okay. Go this way. Don't do what I do. What I mean by that is, I think I put my fingers a little too close to the blade and stuff. Don't do that. Um, I've yet to cut myself though, so, but I used to, in college, um, I was in, I was in the architecture school program, so I was wielding a lot of X-Acto knives, so I'm not saying that like I'm an expert because, um, it would be me that I would just start bleeding a lot during live, but I'm merely trying to say, please be safe out there, kids. Hope I'm not giving anybody anxiety out there either. All right. So one more side that you can't see. Let me see. Just trying not to get like the computer's work stuff in the background, but whatever. I should have tied my hair up for this. What is going on? Oh, I'm always playing like, is that lint or is that just a gray hair? But I think in this case it's a gray hair. All right. We are moving, okay? Like we are doing it. Hello? All right. A little snip at the top, little snip at the bottom. All right. It's another piece down. I need to bring more of these out. Just using these clips. All right, so that's 3 out of 4. Yeah, 3 out of the 4 pieces done so far. Even though I have to go back with the lining on the rest of them. But that's okay. I'm not gonna think about that yet. Just gonna focus on the last piece, which I think is the smallest of. Yeah. So this is the reason why these are like this. It's because I was using this basically to trace the pattern pieces. So naturally, everything's just really curly. All right, but this is the last piece. This is the bikini top back. All right, I actually like how this part is so thin. I think that's a cool detail. Okay, so let's rearrange our fabric again. Oh, sweet. Okay, I think this will just fit. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Ooh. Maybe, yeah. Okay. Love it when things work out. Okay, where's the smaller one? All right. Yeah, something like that. Cool. where am I? There we go. Bring this. Nope, I need to stand. I need to stand up. I'm actually really hoping that this ends up being a wearable tool. So, you're cutting out something that's for practice, right? But it ends up working out. So I would actually love to wear, because I never wore this one piece out. There were some issues with this. It needed a lining. I just felt like it was just, I don't know. I just felt like I needed another layer when I was wearing it. I didn't mind at the time, especially like, how it looked, with like, a little bit of side boob action. It was very cheeky. That was kind of okay. But I will say that this part, and even the low back wasn't terrible. But this was definitely like, I don't do anything but just sit around and look nice by the water type of thing. And also too, because I have a bit of a bum, there was a gap here between, your, so I have a sway back situation, right? At least what they, I guess, call in the fitting and fashion world. So that means that, like, my back dips in or whatever. So where that would happen is, like, my behind is like out here, and then there was like this would gape, and so there would be like a big gap between where this back was and where my back and where this was. So it just didn't look neat. So I didn't want to figure out how to deal with that, and I was like, well, that was fun. It seems like a cute pattern, but I was just no longer interested. I also realized too, I was like, even though this is a cool swimsuit, I I don't think that's the style I want. So that was also something I made during the pandemic, and I think I just wasn't thinking about swimming during that time. I also think that even though I love this pattern, I love the fabric pattern. Um, I feel like there are just so many nice features about that one piece, um, that having it like as in one color, like a black or a navy blue or something like that, would have really accentuated like the great features of that swimsuit. But I digress. We are on to other things. We're not talking about that one anymore. Okay. I'm sorry. All right. Cool, cool, cool. I mean, usually I work with wovens. So usually my go-to when I'm cutting out a pattern on the fabric is usually I'm pinning and cutting. Like I feel like that's super old school stuff. Um, I think a lot of people these days will use, these exclusively. And I think a lot of people actually prefer pattern weights. And I think it must be just because it's so much faster. And this also feels like less, whatever on your, okay, less whatever on your hands. But then I've also seen a lot of people use, Has anybody seen those scissors where like you just push the scissors, but like they're doing the cutting, so your hand doesn't ever like, you know, feel all weird? Okay. Next time, I'm not gonna worry about putting it up now, but next time I'm putting up the hair because this is ridiculous. Okay. Oh. No. Oh no. Okay. Something shifted. It's okay. We're back. We're back. We're back. No big deal. No big deal. Whoa, you're doing it again. All right, I'm just gonna have to press it. And honestly, even if there were like a little bit of shift, it kind of just doesn't matter because it's very slight. And then it's a, you know, it's a fabric that's so forgiving. All right. Boom. Just like that. Just like that. Let's cut this little notch. Okay. That went by pretty quickly. Alright, so lay back. Okay. BRB. Alright, excited to get the rest of my pins. I'm sorry, not my pins, clips. All right, so yeah, this is all. Yeah, that's everything for like the main fabric. Like I said, I'm gonna do a little crotch piece, which I'm gonna do on the lining. Everything else I'm gonna be cutting out of the lining. I'm debating, do I do the lining in front of you guys? I don't know. Usually, you know, if you've seen these liners before, I usually have like a, you know, like a top down setup, you know, whatever. But as I've explained before, my computer she's going through a tough time right now. So I was using OBS Studio to do like all these, you know, these kind of cooler effects and views, but I've recently just been using just regular, the stock YouTube Live that comes with the app. And honestly, I think this has been fine. It's just when it comes to, there's a lot of scrap stuff, but I'm just put it back here. But you know, when it comes to like being able to see what I'm doing and like get like a better view of all that, I just feel like for the most part you can't really see too well. Oh yeah, I forgot. So like, yeah, this is only 1.5 yards. It's a UV protective compression tricot with aloe. I thought that was interesting because I remember when I was purchasing this online from Mood Fabrics, some of their swimwear fabrics, they have it like UV protected in the fabric and with aloe. I don't I don't know how that works. I also actually am not certain if you're supposed to like wet down, this type of fabric, like you would regular fabric. Oh, I forgot I was using this. It's okay. Okay. Boom. But whatever, it's fine. Okay, so now this is and this is from Blackbird. Oh, machine wash gentle. Well. Oh, and this is only half a meter. Whatever, I have more. But for this, I'll have plenty. All right, so I'm gonna do this little part for the crotch area. See if I can just utilize maybe this. Nice. Okay, perfect. All right, can I put 2 in there? Yes, I can. Okay. This lining, it's definitely thin, a little slippery, but again, because I am using the pattern weights, I don't really have to worry about that stuff so much, like as far as like shifting much or doing anything weird. Also, it just feels like a fabric that if I used pins, it would feel like it's like a little too much for it. All right, so as I shift them myself, it's okay. It's like, it's not a big piece. Stop it. It's just a little piece, and I think honestly, because I'm sitting down, it's not helping. Alright, a little snip here, bottom. Easy peasy. Alright, so for the lining, I need 3 pieces. Ugh, I know I'm on a roll, but I don't want to keep going. Okay, let me just do another one. Okay. Let's see, all right, there's the selvage side, because it is directional. Sometimes I, when it comes to like little pieces like this, I kind of start being like, I don't care as long as it fits. Which maybe isn't the best attitude, but it does work. All right, no big deal. Okay. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but when I was actually, I probably had this stored on, like wrapped around here for like well over a year. And so when I was doing that, I used just a regular pin to pin the end so it wouldn't just keep unraveling. And I feel like you won't be able to see it, but all I'm saying is like the pen went through all the layers, so like you can see that kind of a little bit. But anyway, you can tell where the pen went through. So that's why like fabric like this is another four-way lining. It's just bet in your best interest to use don't use pins, to actually just use pattern weights or something else so you don't pierce and mark your fabric. Again, this is a lining. This is also like practice fabric. Who cares? Certainly not me, but I'm just saying. You may want to start your own, swimsuit business. Would be something good to know. All right. I think if I were smart, no. I was gonna say like maybe I would have like laid them out at the same time and then just cut them. But I think it would have been annoying. Yeah, this stuff is kind of snags, kind of easy. Okay, let me do my back butt piece. This one, the bikini bottoms. So on the clip here. This, put you here. All right. At least if the first one I do is the largest one, it's just easy from there, right? Just do the biggest one first. Okay. What? I can't take it no more. So just take a second. This will at least help. Okay. All right. So. Skip this a little bit. Maybe that's better. Just doesn't matter. Okay. All right, nice. I swear, if I may get lazy. If these work out, am I gonna use the, am I gonna make another one? No, I should. I'd really like to, because I already have fabric that I want to use for these. I showed it last time. Where did I put it? Oh. Yee! I love it. I think it's great. Another from Blackbird Fabric, like last year or the year before. I don't know. These years just fly. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, I may have to kind of switch it up a little bit and use um my rotary cutter more. I think it's also helping that like I'm only going through like one layer at a time. I'm sorry, you can't really, it feels like you can't really see that all too well. Oh well. Yeah, but it's he's usually like with other patterns that I'm doing, I'm usually cutting, you know, two layers at a time. It just feels like and it feels like you're cutting through two layers, where this is like, this is really thin, this is one layer. So I'm just kind of gliding. Even though I think it looks like I'm pushing down really hard, which maybe I kind of am, but I don't need to be. And that's done. Clip it up here. Oh, it's so thin. Actually, I may just be able to do this little notch. Yeah, with the rotary. Okay, cool. So where's this? All right, so now got this fabric, got the lining fabric. So I think what's gonna happen is, I haven't read through all the instructions yet, but I think what's basically gonna end up happening is, since the lining, you know, whenever you've had a swimsuit and it has a lining, it usually kind of acts as like one piece. So I think what's gonna happen is, at least I watched another video. I haven't like looked. It was about like, you know, making swimwear, and I think when you have a lining, you're basically gonna just be basting around the edge. So essentially, you're making this like one pattern piece with the outer on the outside, lining on the inside, but it's acting as like one piece of fabric. So then when you like do the side seams of the front and back of the bikini bottom, it just acts as one piece, and your lining is already taken care of. I think that's how this is gonna go. That's not the case. I can let you know, but I think that's how this is supposed to go. Actually, I think I'm gonna put the lining on top of this, sandwich it, so I keep everything together. Even though it's not many pieces, you just want to stay organized. Life is chaotic enough. I want to try to make this as easy for myself as possible. Worst thing is like when you're in the middle of a project, especially if it's been like a little while since you gotten back to it, and then you're like, where was I? What was I doing? It's a terrible feeling. It just always takes you like a second to like get back into the groove of things. So I don't even want to go there. Okay. All right. So now got two pieces done. I'm just pinning these in more places to kind of again like hold it together, and then yeah. But this is not crucial, but it's just more for organization purposes. So that one's done. My front one is done, but it's not pinned very well, so I can do that now. You know what? I'm gonna do y'all a solid. I'm gonna spare y'all I'm not gonna do the other two linings on camera, but hey, so much progress was made in this live today, or tonight, I should say. So really, like, all I have to do at this point will be to, if you recall, I'll either use this color or this color. I got so much more of this. I have never seen black rubberized elastic, swim elastic, so I just thought that sounded fun. And then this is actually an off gray or off white one, so I got that as well, just for giggles. And then, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use, I'll be basically measuring and cutting down these and these, and then I'll need to remember to put a, change my needle on my sewing machine to put in a like a ballpoint or jersey needle, so I don't essentially, like, you know, ruin this fabric pushing it through the machine. But yeah, it'll pretty much be time to sew. I know I'll have to, I'm not sad, I'm just thinking. I know I'll have to, you know, essentially put the elastic like around the neckline, around, you know, the armholes, because, you know, that's where everything is like suctioned to you, right? And then, you know, same thing around, for the bottoms, you know, I'll want to put the elastic around the where you put your legs through, and, you know, using this around the actual waist for the high waistline. Yeah, so if I was a person who sewed really quickly, like this is definitely a, hey, I see this pattern, I want to make this pattern, but you could knock this out in a day for sure. Especially if I'm saying that somebody like, I'm really slow with sewing and stuff. And if I'm saying that, it can definitely be done. But if it takes you longer, that's fine, because it's gonna take me longer than that, because that's just how I work. So yeah. But all right then, kids. It's been fun. We've had a good time. Spent almost an hour together. The time does fly when we're having so much fun. Thanks again for joining me for where's the thing for this pattern. So as always, thanks for hanging out. I'll see y'all next time, but in the meantime, happy sewing. All right, take care, y'all. Bye.